The benefits, it's tactile, students can learn at their own pace, they can explore the things that are interesting to them. So you guys said most of you never take field trips anymore, and there was some concern about using technology and having it take away time from other things. But the biggest issue was were not being sure you would have access to connectivity and also how long it takes to develop something. So the connectivity I can't really help you with. Our labs, I think, are in better shape this year than they were before. Fine arts, our lab is pretty great all the time, and there are always empty rooms. So if you're not using a lab, it's probably because you haven't looked to see that there is one available. And then my favorite thing about this is it does not take any time to build one of these tours. You can build a tour in 15 minutes. No lie. So even like last minute even, I want to do something different, you can make that happen. So I'm going to try to walk you through that. And I thought the first thing would be for us to look at a tour. So on the instructional page here, under the instructional agenda, it says take a virtual field trip. So this is one that if you click on that, it's going to take you to the tour builder that I made, and it's called Shakespeare's London because that's what I love more than anything. And it looks like this. So it's going to look really familiar. And I'm not going to take you through the whole tour. Certainly you can navigate it yourself. But I want to make sure that you see some of the things that are here so that you'll know how they can work. So you get an introductory pane, and you select an image. And if you scroll down, it's just a short introduction. Hey kids, this is what this tour is going to be about. And then over there on the right, you've got the Google Earth pane. So the way that the students or the user would navigate this would either be to click on a location there, use the navigation pane on the left, or just click next. So I had it start at Kell, and I made this bleary-eyed introduction. I hope you guys enjoy it. To show that you can embed a video of yourself saying, hey kids, we're going on a tour. This is what I want you to do. You're going to notice right here that it says we can't embed this video. I'm going to explain how the workaround for that. If it's a YouTube video, it'll show it right away. But if it's a video you upload, it kind of makes them click one more link. So I'm going to click here. And this could be you. All right, so that was me. Okay, so then they would close that and go back to the tour itself and click next, and it would zoom out and race us across the ocean and bring us down in Stratford-on-Avon, which is Shakespeare's birthplace. And when they get there, they have some options, some of the Google Earth options. So you can grab they can look at the surrounding areas. They can zoom in and out. As far as you want. But the other thing that's really cool here, and maybe I'm way behind the time, I did not know you could do this. If you're looking at Google Earth, you can grab this guy, and anywhere you see a blue dot, it's going to bring up a picture that somebody took. So the kids could explore in 3D, this is where the virtual part comes in, images that other people have shared on Google. You can exit the street view, and you can look all over. This is, I think, that's a street in Stratford. So it gives you this ability to have them look all over the place, and you didn't have to do anything except drop a pin, right? So they can get a real sense of what the environment looks like. Yeah. So exiting Street View there, it takes us back here. Now over here on the middle pane is where you do your work as the teacher, and how much you do is kind of up to you. So what I've got is a short description of Shakespeare's birthplace. His father, John Shakespeare, was a glover. Now, most kids, so I had a kid say, like, what's a glover? And so I linked it. A glover is a maker of gloves. So but this is where you can provide extra support if you're using vocabulary for students, that you can already have it linked, highlighted, or key vocabulary. If there's key vocabulary you want to make sure that they get on the tour, you can do it that way. So in here, you have the option of adding up to 25 different elements. They can be pictures or they can be videos. So the first one that I have here is a video. So the kids click on that. And this is an embedded video.
All the world is a stage, but play
I went to YouTube and I typed in Shakespeare's birthplace, and this came up, and I clicked select. That's all I did. And it gives you a little, it grabs the caption from YouTube. And this is like a 3-minute, this is what Stratford on Avon is on. So I close that and I go back here. I've also added in this same location just pictures. And sometimes the pictures, they have a magnifying glass. The kids can blow it up and get a bigger image. And also, and I'll show you on some of them, you can add a title and description and also a photo attribution. So if you're working on documenting sources, there's a place for them to do that here and for you to do it and to demonstrate it. So you can add up to 25 elements at each location. So then the next place is Anne Hathaway's house, Holy Trinity Church. And for this one, rather than it showing the pin drop, I went in and grabbed a street view and locked that as the view. So when they go to Holy Trinity Church, it's like they're walking up to it. So you can really go through and use the street view to create a sense of them actually going on this walking tour of Stratford-on-Avon. I've got some more links. I want to scroll down to the Globe Theater. And here, I've done the same thing. Scroll around. This is really what it looks like. We'll be there in a couple of weeks. Yes. And if you scroll through the gallery here, I've got images that I found, but also images of myself, right? So if you have images of your own, you don't have to just use search images. You can pull things up. Here's me on the stage at the Globe. Yeah. That was the teacher training thing I did a couple years ago. So that was it. That was a nice high point. So you can see the other locations that I have here, and you can add I haven't seen anywhere that it says you only have X number of locations that you can add. So that's what a tour looks like. And there are some options for creating different effects. Okay, just scroll back out of here. Should have opened that in a new window. I'll change that. Okay. So there are others here. I've got... I also started a Museum of Atlanta tour, and I guess with social studies, most of you being social studies, this is it fits right with you. Like when I get math and science, it's going to be a little bit more like, what are we going to do? But I started creating a tour that is Museums of Atlanta, and this one, rather than it being a linear tour, because the other one was chronological. It was like Shakespeare was born here, then he got baptized, or he got christened, and then he moved to London, so it was sequential. This one is more, it's called a hub tour. So I started it at Kell High School again, and then I've linked 3 different museums, the Fernbank, the Tellis, and the High Museum of Art. That was just for you. I just did it a few minutes ago. So I clicked, I've got the High Museum. There are. And I've got linked in there a tour of the High. So this could be a preview for an actual field trip. But really easy to pull everything together. So it does not take, I did this whole tour, I don't know, like 10 minutes ago. So, all right. So that's the actual tool and what it looks like. So before we went any further with it, about how to actually use it, I wanted to talk about how you can use it for instruction. So this is a thing that I think the tool is fairly new. It's still in a beta version, and I think teachers are using it, but teachers are not really sharing what they're doing yet, but you can. So if you go to the Google Tour Gallery, there are a very limited number of tours that people have made fully public, including this one about the Haiti Health Initiative, which is a promotional tour of an organization that's providing healthcare in Haiti. So this is where I'm starting to think, okay, well, now we're getting into maybe health sciences or current events. And this tour is not a hub and not a linear tour. It is an open tour, meaning there are just random locations. And there's images of the work that they do, as well as kind of how to help. So it can have lots of uses. And it's almost like a way of making a website really quickly without having to deal with Weebly or Wix or Wikispace or any of the other Ws. Okay. All right. Before I show you how to use it, I wanted to talk a little bit about how, and this is not me talking about it, but us talking about it, like how you think you might be able to use something like this for instruction, differentiation, review, or assessment. So I think it's really obvious how you use it for direct instruction. Here, kids, is some information, and I'm going to walk you through this, and it's basically a glorified PowerPoint. With that, embedded in that, you can have the differentiation where you're providing a little bit of extra support with links for students. But I'm curious, I mean, this is genuinely curious about how you would in your department maybe think about using it in other ways. Like, does it seem like something that's useful or potentially useful, even with something you're doing right now? And I wanted to kind of hear from you about that, or have you talk to each other, and yeah.
Well, we did an extra credit opportunity where the kids went to the King Center and researched Gandhi and King. But there's a lot of kids that can't actually get down to Atlanta.
Right.
So I think it would be wonderful to have an extra credit opportunity that's online.
Yeah.
So everybody can.
So it's like it can be an extension activity, yeah, for sure. And I think it teaches them also about looking closely at their sources. Because if you go to YouTube and start looking for videos, you're going to find like somebody's vacation video along with something that was produced by the King Center, and kind of making them like not just click on the first thing, but actually having to look at different things and like what is the best representation of this space. So I was thinking, for me, if I was still teaching language arts, I would really want to use this as we head into exams. You could almost do a tour of what's going to be on the exam, especially with social studies or geography. So I don't know, does that seem possible as a thing?
You could. I like direct instruction better, or for differentiation. And you could even have the kids turn around and do something of this themselves. So in psychology, when I taught it back in the day, I would have the kids make personality boxes, but instead they could just make a tour of their life. And it could be a tour of their house, it could be a tour of their favorite places, a tour of them as a person. So that would be a good way to differentiate. They can go on a tour, they can make a tour.
Yeah, I mean, turning it around and making the kids make a tour, I think, is really about synthesizing information for them as well. So that's higher order. Yeah, Keitra.
For